Let us make man. The word man here is the word ish, I-S-H, write it down in Hebrew, ish. It's a plural word, which means that God wasn't making a person, he was making a species. All of us is called man. For example, we call all dogs, dogs. We call all cats, cats. God called all of us man. Man is the designation of the whole species. It comes in two models, male and female. But it's all man. And then he says, I want to make this particular product in my own image. Write the word image down. See, this stuff is important. This is what set me free. The word image doesn't mean to look like. The Hebrew word means characteristics. Characteristics. Let them have the same characteristics, qualities of God. No Baptist pastor told me that. My father couldn't teach me that. He didn't know it. I had to find it for myself. I have God's character. Wow. What a discovery for a little boy sleeping on the floor. I am just like my father, God. Oh, my mind was changing. You know, we had teachers from Europe because we were oppressed by the British, you know. We were bought there as slaves years ago. My great-grandfather was a slave, you know. And so the British people, man, they told us that we were half-breed monkeys. They were very clear. They said, you are not fully humans. They told us this in class. One of them said to me, you are retarded. Your brain is maldeveloped. You are not able to be educated. All you can do is music and dancing. And that's why they still believe that today right here in this city. All your people do is dance and music. Why don't you run the economy? We're not world changers, we are entertainers. I decided, no, I got God's character. I got to find this. The qualities of God is in you. Every one of you, black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter, Puerto Rican, you have God's image. This is not a message for any race of people. It's for humans. You can do anything you dream. You're just like your God, your Father. Boy, that thing hit me like a bolt of light. Wow. And then the word likeness. I had to look for it myself in the Hebrew. You know what it means? It means to function like. Let us make a creature that has our characteristics and functions like us. That means you function just like God, your Father. Which means you got to study, how does God function? Because if you don't function like God, you are malfunctioning. For example, in God, the Bible said there's no fear. So when you fear life, you are malfunctioning. So I'm afraid of nothing. I'm telling you, literally, I'm afraid of nothing. That makes me dangerous. A fearless man is a dangerous man. I'm not afraid of death. And that's the highest threat you can give me. And I'm not afraid of death. And you'll find that all true leaders have no fear of death. As a matter of fact, they have an affair with death. All true leaders. Why did God create you? Read it. To have what? Dominion. So what was the motivation for God's creation of you? Dominion. Why did God create you? Say it loud. Dominion. Well, what motivated God to create you? Dominion. What was the reason why God created you? Dominion. Yeah, not to have worship services. He never said prayer meetings. He never said to be a bishop. I don't know. Culture has done a good job at us. Here's a guy who's a bishop and can't pay his light bill. Here's an evangelist who owes everybody. Here's an apostle who can't even pay his mortgage. Something's wrong with this. We missed the point. He didn't create you to be a title. He created you to have dominion. Everybody say dominion.
Dominion.
This is where leadership is born. See? Because the word dominion, I checked it out, is the word radah in Hebrew. Write it down. It actually means to rule. It also means to govern. It means to master, to manage resources. It means to control things. It means to have sovereign authority. It actually means to lead. Please buy this CD and listen to it a few times. Get this in your spirit. That is why you were created. To be a ruler, a governor, a manager, a controller, an authority, and a leader. Now, here's why I changed. Here's why I changed. When I discovered this, I had to discover the second principle. I'm going to give it to you. If he designed you, created you to be a leader, a master, a governor, a ruler, a controller, then there must be the ability to do it. But notice, he didn't give you rulership over people. He listed what you should lead: birds, fish, animals, plants, and creeps. This is very important. God says, let's make a leader, a governor, a manager, a ruler, not to rule people. So leadership in God's mind is not about people. It's about resources. You've been taught he who has no one following is simply taking a walk. That's what the Chinese taught you. Jesus disagrees. He said, you are a leader whether someone is following you or not, as long as you are fulfilling the management of resources through your gift. But you see, it's the way it works. Here's the way it works. I'm sure it works. First, let me give you this is the secret. Whatever a manufacturer demands, he builds into the product. Write that down. This is what changed me from the floor. Whatever a manufacturer demands from a product, he builds it into the product. Am I right? Am I right about this? Think about anything. Your car, for example, your computer, your iPad, your iPhone, whatever you have, your refrigerator, whatever it's supposed to function as, it is built with. Number two, whatever God calls for, he provides for. Number three, whatever God demands, he inputs. Number four, whatever God expects from something, he injects it into it. And number five, whatever God gave the purpose of a thing to do, he built it with the potential to do it. That changed my life. Because when I discovered the principle of creation, I discovered my ability. Yeah. So when a manufacturer makes a product, he makes it for a purpose. Purpose means to perform a specific function. He builds into the product the capacity to perform the function. And then he sells it to you. And he tells you to demand these certain things from the product. You can demand it because it's already built in. When I discovered this, my life changed. Because suddenly I realized that no one in my environment could determine what I could and could not do. That's when I canceled my European teachers. It was at that point my life changed. I was 13 years old when I discovered this. I want to show you something. Give you an illustration. If God created you to dominate, then the capacity to dominate is in you. Do you get the principle? Okay. So whatever you were born to do is built in. So here's what I want you to take a look at then. Conception does not guarantee manifestation. Now what I mean by that is a bird and a fish were created by God. The fish was created to do what? Swim. So fish do not attend swimming lessons. I know it sounds simple, but it's very important. Why? Because swim is built into the fish. Why? Because God demanded the fish to swim. So he put the ability in it. Birds were designed by God to fly. So birds don't attend flight school. Flight is built in. I like this one. Seeds. Seeds were designed by the Creator to bring forth trees. You'll never find a seed attending a tree growing convention to learn how to grow trees. Why? Where's the tree? Trapped on the inside. In other words, whatever God created something to do, he built it in. Your culture and your educational system doesn't allow you to discover that. We are educated to be employed, not to be deployed. Seeds deploy themselves and become trees. Fish deploy themselves and they swim. Birds deploy themselves and they fly. We are the only creatures God created who don't deploy ourselves, because our culture doesn't allow it. You got to get free from the culture. And it's seminars like this that make you begin to have a meeting with yourself and discuss yourself with yourself and say to yourself, self, am I who I really am? You know, here's my conviction. This is why I believe that buried in every human being is a leader, trapped by an erroneous philosophy that you were born to follow. Let us make man to have what? Dominion. To govern, to rule, to lead, control. Which means that somewhere inside of you is a ruler, a controller, a leader, a dominator. Somewhere in there. Because he would not have demanded it if he didn't inject it. Which means that your ability is determined by your responsibility. Your potential is designed by your purpose. Your potential is equal to what you were born to do. The best example I can give you is this car. Look at this car. All cars have what they call a speedometer. Am I right? Here's an old one, old Chevy. Now, if you look at the numbers have up to 160 miles per hour this car can travel. All of your cars have that kind of registration, sometimes 200, 180. Everybody got that, right? Okay. Now, when you bought the car, that was on the car. You bought the car with it. It was on it, 180 miles per hour. I'm getting ready to go, okay. I'm so excited. Okay, so you bought this car, you brought it home, and the manufacturer says this car can travel 180 miles per hour. How can the manufacturer put that on there? What makes him so sure that this vehicle could travel 180? That's the first question. The second question is, have you ever traveled 180 in that car? No. Let me tell you how stupid our philosophy of our countries are. We sell a car that could travel 180 and put a sign up 50 miles per hour. It's amazing. It's crazy. I don't understand it. I have no idea how they got this idea. I don't know where it comes from. But it tells you the nature of your culture. Don't try it. They give the company permission to build the capacity, but restricts your ability to use it. And you never thought about that. And that's the way they think about you. So all your life, you can make 180, but you've been traveling for 50 years at 60 miles per hour. And you think you're living. The capacity is present. Our culture says you can't go any further. And God says, press the accelerator. And your culture says, you can't go any further. You can go no faster. And God says, and your culture says, you can't do that. And God says, let's go. And your culture says, stop. That's as far as you can go. You got to make a decision tonight, see? You have God's ability. And man puts up the signs. You're a follower. And God says you're a leader. You're an employee. And God says you're a controller. You are a subject. And God says you are a ruler. They keep putting up signs. One day, I was in Germany. My wife and I spent 6 months in Germany. And one day, we were going from München to another city for me to speak. And we got on what they call the Autobahn. The Autobahn is a road without limit, no speed limit. Okay, once you get, you can go as fast as you can. So my host was driving in beautiful black Mercedes. And you know me, I'm from the Western world where there are signs everywhere. Okay? You guys ain't got no Autobahns here. So I'm on the highway, man, and he said to me in German, I spoke German. He said, have you ever been on an Autobahn? I said, what is an Autobahn? He said, this is the street we're about to enter where there's no limit. We can drive as fast as we want. I said, what? He said, would you like to drive? I said, yes. For the first time in my life, I have an opportunity to open a car. I felt so excited. I said, man, I get to drive. He said, yes. So he pulled off to the gas station, switched. I got in the car. Hey. My. He said, go on, turn off. We turn off onto the highway. He said, okay, go ahead. He says, we're going to be driving for another 4 hours, so don't worry about it. And man, I began to see that needle go up, and I become excited. And I hit 60, right? Mentally, 60. I go, oh dear. He says, go ahead. I said, really? He said, go ahead. And I went up 80. And my whole heart begins to pump faster. And I'm thinking, I'm flying. He says, Dr. Munroe, please go ahead. I said, you mean? He said, yes, go ahead. I went up 95. He says, go ahead. Now, the car could make 250. And I'm thinking, oh, Jesus, man. He says, go ahead. You are going too slow. Cars are passing me. So I hit 100. And my whole body began to rebel. My mind began to rebel. And I realized that I was corrupted by my culture. And he said, you are going too slow. I went 120. He said, will you please? Now, by this time, I'm the only car on the road. I'm feeling now, man, 125. This is it. I'm the fastest man in the world. And I'm flying out. I'm flying. All of a sudden, 10 minutes later, a car passed me. He said, I told you you're going too slow. I went to 150, and my whole body, my whole mind, everything locked up and said, you can't do this. He said, what's the matter? I said, this is 150. He says, you're still going too slow. This is the Autobahn. The average speed is 185. He said, do you still want to drive or you want to pull over? I said, I'm going to try to drive. And at 170, there was a barrier broken in my mind. I never forgot that to this day. 170. Something happened to me, and I realized there was life after 170. Wow! Man! 185, man, I'm flying. Shoo! I said, can I go more? He said, go ahead. And 190, shoo! I said, can I go? He said, go ahead. 200, man. I'm sitting there going, yeah. He said, now we're driving. My life has changed that day. No more barriers in my life. There was a point where I had to break it. That's why you're here this week. I'm going to take you to that point. You got to break it. There's life after your job. There's life outside your career. There's life beyond the pulpit. Don't let the pastorate become your cage. There's life beyond your employment. You gotta break it. You're a leader. I call it unreleased potential. Driving at 50 with a car of 150. See, you think you're doing well until someone passes you. I thought I was doing well. The guy passed me. I said, excuse me. Tonight, I am the German sitting in the passenger seat. That's who I am for you right now. And I'm here to tell you, go for it. Go a little faster. Break it. That's who I am. I'm the guy sitting on the passenger side saying, you're going too slow. You could do better than this. You're a leader. I hope that this first night will cause you to think about your own limitations. Because that's you. The Creator is the only manufacturer I know who hides a man inside a boy. He hides a woman in a girl. He doesn't create women. He hides them. He doesn't create men. He hides them. I wonder who's trapped in you. I wonder if we'll ever meet you. I guess the graveyard will get it. Today I look at myself in the mirror and I kept thinking, that was on the floor with the mosquitoes and the roaches. I wonder who's sitting in your chair right now. You're a leader. Can you see yourself? You know why you're still alive? Because the manufacturer ain't satisfied. He's bored. He's telling you, you've not shown yourself yet. Show yourself. Let me close with these statements. Write them down, please. You were born to lead, but you must become a leader. That's the purpose for a seminar and a conference. I'm not here to make you leaders. I am here to expose you as a leader. A seed is a tree, but it must become the tree. And that's the way you are right now. You are a great woman, an awesome man, but you must become. It is my passion, my hope, my anger that no human being die until they are manifested. Let's meet you before you go. Let the world see who you really are before you leave us. Show us yourself. Show yourself. You could run the race. Running the race of life is not about beating people. It's about releasing yourself. That's why great leaders never compete with anyone. That's right. They are in competition with themselves. They try to see how much of themselves they can release tomorrow. It's leadership. I will never compete with you. I'm too original. Repeat out loud, please. Go. You were not created to lead people. Number 2, read. You were created to lead in an area of gifting. Number 3, read. True leadership is born when your gift is discovered and served to the world. Number 4, read. The value in each human is the gift they were born to deliver to humanity. That's you. There's something you carrying that we need. I told you that leadership is not about people following you. It's about you discovering yourself, your gift, and then serving that to humanity. Leadership it's like a tree. You know, a seed becoming a tree and then bearing its fruit. You will never find a fruit tree bringing its fruit to you. That's good. I'm giving you the greatest secret of leadership right now. Leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to leaders, just like you are attracted to the tree's fruit. When you go to a fruit tree for the fruit, you don't go for the leaves nor the branches. What do you go for? The fruit. And that's why no one's following you yet. Because you're not manifesting your gift. Before I leave this city, by tomorrow night, I'm going to help you find your gift. Because when you find your gift, they will find you. And then they'll pay you for it. They will follow you for your gift. I'm talking about your gift you're supposed to give to humanity. The greatest statement I've ever heard about gift and leadership is this: for I did not come to be served, but to serve myself, a ransom for many. That's why we come to him. If you want to be ransomed, you come to the tree. I serve myself, he says. That's why the greatest leadership in the world is to become a servant. Get it? It doesn't mean you are a slave to people. You are a slave to your gift. You serve it. But if you can't find it, you can't serve it. Therefore, you become employed.